Home seller secrets. Good afternoon. They say in YouTube you're supposed to have this hook, this thing that gets people to start watching your video right away, and they're hooked and they can't stop watching. And I swear every time I think about that, I mess it up. So I'm sorry. Today we have an article. I'm going to review an article that's 10 best kept secrets for home sellers. And so we're going to go. Number one, is it a secret for me? Number two, would I advise doing it or not? So there's 10 of them. Let's get to it. Here we go. So 10 best kept secrets for selling your home. This is on HGTV, so you know it has to be real. So selling secret number 10, pricing it right. It says find out what your home is worth, then shave 15 to 20% off the price. You'll be stampeded by buyers with multiple bids. And then it says it just takes real courage, and most sellers don't want to risk it, but it's the single best strategy to sell a home in today's market. So did I know about that? No, it's not a secret to me. So yes, I did know about it. And I would say it depends on the market. In the market that we're in, it's so strong that I actually think sellers are trying to list their homes 25 to 30% more than it should actually sell for. So if they cut it 15 to 20%, they're likely still over what you'd want to be. So that's a pass for me. Just price it right. And by price it right, that means, what do you think it's going to sell for? Use that number. If you think it's going to sell for 400, list it for 400. I mean, don't get cute, because once you set a price, it's going to be it's not like you can just go up. I mean, you're the one to set the first price, so you should do it to where you think it would sell. Number 9, half empty closets. It says storage is something every buyer is looking for and can never have enough of. And then it says take half of the stuff out of your closets, then neatly organize what's left. So is that a secret? Sure, I'll say it's a secret. But it's a tough thing, because if you're living in the house and while it's listed, it's super tough to give up your closet space. And if you've already moved out, you've likely taken your things with you. So while it could be a secret, it's not really relevant to most sellers. I don't think if you're living in the house, you're taking out half of your clothes and organizing them. I just don't think you're doing it. So that's just me. Number 8, light it up. Maximize the light in your home. Take down the drapes, clean the windows, change the lampshades, increase the wattage of your light bulb, and cut the bushes outside to let in the sunshine. Do whatever you have to do to make your house bright and cheery. So that's not a secret to me. And at the same time, I do agree with it. Okay. Like in our office, we'll tell sellers to wash the windows, make sure you wash the windows, and maybe 25% of people actually do. If the sellers are younger, they typically don't own drapes, and so they wouldn't have to take them down. Changing the lampshades, never heard anybody doing that. Increasing the wattage of the light bulbs. I mean, if your house is dark and outdated, it's going to take more than changing the lampshades and increasing the wattage on the bulbs to fix it. So, it just depends on the situation. So the next one is play the agent field. And it says a secret sale killer is hiring the wrong broker. Make sure you have a broker who's totally informed. And it says find a broker who embraces technology. A tech-savvy one has many tools to get your house sold. So that's not a secret. It's funny because when you say play the agent field, it sounds like you say like pick out of 7 agents. But really, if the first agent that you meet is knowledgeable and embraces technology, why are you looking for another agent? And the truth is, really, you should pick somebody that you like, someone you get along with. If you're a seller who doesn't use email or text, or an agent who embraces technology isn't going to work out that well for you. It's all about how you get along with the agent. As far as agents being knowledgeable, I've seen neighborhood experts totally bungle sales before when they've listed homes. So, I mean, to me, a neighborhood expert can be good and bad. And myself, I typically like to have a lot of time before I know something's being listed. So you let me know a month or two before you're going to list your house. And whenever we actually list it, I'll have it pretty good on the mark. So that's just me though. Number 6, conceal the critters. It says, you might think that a cuddly dog would warm the hearts of potential buyers, but you'd be wrong. Not everybody is a dog or cat lover. And so that's not a secret. But what I would say is it makes me sad when I see a dog in a crate at showings. You know, it really does. I would prefer that sellers take the dog for a walk or something, but that's not always possible. So as far as like, moving the dog food and the bowls and pictures of the pet, I don't think you have to go that far. Just make sure it's clean. I will say that, pets can be a turnoff. I went to one house recently where there was a huge dog that would lay on this couch in the basement, and they had moved the dog for showings, but the house stunk like wet dog anyway. One thing I would recommend is that if possible, clean up any dog poo in the backyard or clean out the litter box. The litter box can end up smelling pretty terrible, and when you look at the house, if you're looking at the back from the backyard, stepping in dog poo will ruin the mood of the buyers. So that's that one. Don't over upgrade. It says quick fixes before selling always pays off. Mammoth makeovers not so much. And that's true. I always tell people, it's not a secret. I mean, I knew that. I always tell people, look, if the most you want to be doing is like painting. That's the most difficult thing you want to be doing. If your bathroom is terrible, just list it for a lower price. I mean, don't go into a major bathroom remodel right before you're selling the house. Large renovation projects take time and energy, and you might not be in the same market by the time you finish. So if you're 3 months out on a bathroom or kitchen remodel, the market could change completely by the time you get done. It's better just to price it as if you know that it's dated, and you move on. Number 4, take the home out of your house. One of the most important things to do when you're selling your house is to depersonalize it. The more personal stuff in your house, the less potential buyers can imagine themselves living there. And so this isn't a secret. I mean, I would think anybody knew this, but it just depends. If you have a shrine to a dead relative, it's probably better to take it down versus keep it up for showings. I'm not as sensitive to pictures as most. Sometimes buyers are nosy. They want to know who lives in the house. They might even try to get a sense of how the people live in the house. It is strange, but it happens. As far as memorabilia in the age in which we live, it's likely that you are a fan of a team that isn't based in St. Louis. So as an example, there may be some Cubs fans in St. Louis. Should you take down your Cubs memorabilia before showings? If they're not going to buy your house because you're a Cubs fan, whatever. So if there's pictures up, sometimes people say take down religious crosses and stuff like that. 1 or 2 crosses, leave it up. Don't worry about it. It's just if you get something that looks really, really tacky and takes your attention to that spot, you don't really want to be doing something like that when you're listing your house. Number 3, the kitchen comes first. And the idea here is, the most important room is your kitchen. It's the showstopper. It's not a secret, but it's not the only thing. And the kitchen doesn't exactly come first. Like if you walk in the house, the first 15 seconds are when the buyers make up their mind. So the effort for your staging, all of your focus should be when people walk into the first room. And what happens is, if a buyer walks in, they say, this is interesting. I want to see more, but I'm kind of liking what I see. Versus they walk in the first room and they're like, I'm done. I'm not interested. And they won't even want to look at the rest of the house. I had that happen to me this afternoon, which wasn't great. So number 2, always be ready to show. Your house needs to be show ready at all times. You never know when somebody's going to want to see the house. And this is not a secret, but this is as the house is listed. It's hard to do when you live in a house, and you're showing it while you're living there. When the market is cool, there can be days between showings. So, I mean, you can't, it can get out of hand. It's important to make the house look great, but also be able to get that house together quickly. So one way to do this would be to make a checklist. As an example, on your checklist, you could write, make sure the counter tips are clean. There is no clutter. If you have this morning's breakfast bowl on the counter, now would be the time to get in the dishwasher, or ideally clean. So, just take your checklist, say, is this done? Is this done? Is this done? Did we pick up the poo in the back? Did we clean the countertops? Are our clothes put away? Did we flush the toilet? You would think that would be like obvious, but apparently it's not, because I've been in a lot of houses and it's like, ugh. So like more than 15? So I'm surprised by it every time. I don't know why at this point. And then finally, the first impression is the only impression. And that's true. That's true. It says no matter how good the interior of your home looks, buyers have already judged their home before they walk through the door. You never have a second chance to make a first impression. And I would say that's true. I very seldom ever get someone say, you know what? I'd really like to go through that house we just saw last week. They just, once somebody comes through a house, they've kind of made up their decision. You can even say this, like, well, what if they change the price? No, buyers still kind of made their decision and they're not interested. I mean, those buyers are going to look at, 4 to 5 houses every time they go out, and there's just too many houses. By the time they get done, they're not interested. They just move on. There's always another house. So that's true. And even like as a buyer's agent, I actually try to help the sellers at times. So, for instance, sometimes the lot can be stuck. And so you're trying to show this house and you can't get in. Some agents will just bail on the house altogether. I'll call the agent and say, hey, is there a secret? Is there a key here? Is there a way to get this open a different way? Stuff like that. If something has been broken in the house, so I walked through a house and the front glass had broken out of the door, and I hadn't anything to do with it, but I called the agent and told her, because when you're walking through a house and you see all this broken glass and stuff, it has an effect on the listing. So yes, and then a couple times I've been walking through houses and people are sleeping, like sellers are sleeping in the house. That pretty much every single time, if you walk into a bedroom and there's somebody sleeping, it's pretty much over as far as you trying to sell that house to your buyers. They're just weirded out by it. With that, we'll do the word of the day. Fascinating word, wangle. That means to plan out, usually with subtle skill or care. To have success listing your home, wangle the areas that need it the most. So anyway, that's all I have for you tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. It would be nice if you subscribed, smash the subscribe button. But other than that, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.